Hello, welcome to Model Kit Stuff. My name is Jason and today's first impressions is the just released brand new tool Panzer Kampfwagen 1 Ausf from Tamiya. Hello, yes, first impressions time, and this has arrived to me maybe 2-3 days after it started going on general sale. I'm recording this on Saturday the 2nd of November 2004 and it's just hitting the shops now. So this is a brand new tool from Tamiya. It's been a little while since I reviewed a new tool from Tamiya. It's 1:35 scale. And it's series number 388, and it's one of those early war tanks, actually sort of interwar tanks that were used in the opening stages of the war. So you'd have found these in Poland and Africa and also in France and the Low Countries. And then, of course, the chassis got used under Albert Speer's programme of keeping as much armaments on the battlefield as possible. They got used quite a bit for all sorts of other roles, such as small artillery and towing tractors and all sorts of things. So, yeah. Actually quite an important tank for the German army. I think it also saw action in the Spanish Civil War, if my memory serves me correctly, and quite a nice looking tank. Actually, you can see the start of the Panzer 3 and Panzer 4 in here as well, can't you? Okay, so what's it say on the box? Well, we've got a nice little image of the tank in typical Tamiya style, white background, an image of the tank. You know, it's, as long as I've been buying Tamiya kits, this is how they've done their artwork. It tells us that we have a detailed static display model. Compact form is captured in style based on extensive research of an actual tank, so hoping it will be accurate. Features detailed upper hull and turret assembly type tracks, have one-piece straight sections, included one torso figure, choose between head sections with berry or side cap, that's handy, photo etch parts for the exhaust cover. So yeah, there we go. Says, with the kind cooperation of a museum in Madrid, Spain. So obviously that's the tank they went and visited, I would guess. Right, okay, sides of the box shows the other side of the tank. We've got the two head styles, a lot of writing in Japanese. Both of the ends of the box show the same information as the top, but you do get the kit number there, 35388. And then on this side we can see the photo etch, so a single piece of photo etch, which is the heat shield for the muffler there, and another couple of views, and it says Unit Unknown Russia 41, 4th Panzer Division, France, Spring 1940, and this one was 4th Panzer Division, Poland, September 39. So yeah, they're showing it as all in deep blue, but I'm fairly sure it would have been camouflaged with deep blue and red brown for Poland, but you'd have to do some research and confirm that for the particular unit. Okay, right then, let's have a look at the instructions. Actually, before we talk about the instructions, let's just talk about packaging. What we've got is the typical Tamiya really thin, non-corrugated, flimsy cardboard box. It is top opening though. Then we've got 2 sprues per bag and the instructions at the bottom. Decals and photo etch in the same bag, which I don't like, and stapled bags. And in my mind, I don't like stapled bags because they can scratch. but in reality I'm not sure I've ever seen any damage from that. So it's an issue in my head, but not necessarily in reality. It can move around a little bit in the box, so packaging could be better, in fairness. So paperwork in the box, we've got the instruction manual, we've got paint instructions separately, and then we've got the usual tech tips sheet, which is handy for those people that are new or novice modelers. So put that to one side. Let's have a look at our instruction manual first. So we've got a stapled matte black and white instruction manual, very typical of 1 to 35 scale Tamiya kits. We have an image of the completed model, so it's the first image of the model we've seen, and then we've got some warnings, the list of paints required, quite an extensive list. Let's just see what we've got: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15 different paints called out. Then we've got some recommended tools, all of them Tamiya manufactured, and yeah, there we go. And then as we turn over the page, we've got some instructions for removing photo etch. Yeah, okay. I don't agree with what they say, so we won't focus on that. Then we've got Decals, and it says notice, select one of the 3 marking options shown referring to the separate painting guide, assemble models following the relevant instructions. So A, B and C, there might be some differences in what we're kitting out the tank with, depending on which paint you use it for. So you've got to decide right up front what you're doing. And I you know, not often that I actually model anything that was in France. I've done Poland, do Russia quite a bit, so maybe France with this one. Okay. Step 1, and we're building up the lower hull, and it's not a bathtub hull, I'm pleased to see. So we've got slab sides going in a base, and we've got a little former there, and by the very nature of that former, it's not going to be possible to put interior detail into this tank. So without replacing that, because it's not going to give you the engine bay detail you need or the internal detail you need. We'll have a look at the part when we put it in, but it's just really there to help pull things together. So no interior detail on this kit. Step 2, and we're mounting some of the front suspension. We've got the trusty old poly caps being used there, which means that we're going to have a rotating drive sprocket. Why? We don't need a rotating drive sprocket when we've got link and left tracks, so just for ease of mounting, I guess. But yeah, I mean, that's a little bit of not required, really. You could just have the plastic wheel pin into the plastic part and glue it in, because it's never going to move. So that's a bit needless, really. Then step 3, we've got some detail going in the back there, so that's ready for mounting the idler wheel at the back. And then we can see more parts going in around that, the tow hook, the rear lamp. Yeah, okay, some paint instructions being given out as we go. Then as we turn over, step 5, we're building up wheels and sprockets, and then we're putting those in place. Again, some painting instructions as we go. I'm interested in why there's a little cutout in that wheel. That's most interesting. Not quite sure why that is the way it is. Probably to lock the tracks in place. Interesting. The idler wheel is just being glued on. They're not using a poly cap for that. So Yeah, okay. So wheels are on, and then we are building up the bogies, 2 sets of bogies. So yeah, 2.5 bogies really. And then we have the little support bar. It's quite a distinct feature of this particular tank, which holds those 2 bogies there. Then we're putting the tracks on, and as you can see, link and length, and yeah, that is, it's, I thought it looked at a track link tooth length shape, and it's there to lock that into the correct position. So you can't put it on in the wrong position and get all this wrong. So that's really good. So if you start by putting that top one on and build round, that should work. So yeah, you just build it upside down. Nice little picture there showing you the orientation of the tracks, so you don't put them on the wrong way. The number of times when I was a kid that I put the tracks on the wrong way, you wouldn't believe. So yeah, and then it says actual size. So this is the size of our tank when done. So showing you what it looks like, where the sag is. So yeah, that's all good, and referencing the part numbers for both sides, so that's nicely done. Step 10, and we've got some bits and pieces going into the inside of the upper hull, which is all one piece, and then that's being glued onto the basically the mud guards and the front plate there. Okay, it looks like we can't have the vision ports open. That's disappointing. Yeah, in fact, that's this day and age, that's pretty rubbish, actually. More hooks going on. We've got the little collapsible hatch there. Quite often people sat on that. Yeah. Then step 12, we're fitting out with, well, we've got the axe, the S-hooks, starter handle, lamps, horn, all going on. And then we've got more lamps, spade, jack block, fire extinguisher, and the front towing hooks going on. And again, paint instructions being given as you go. Step 14, looks like we've got a former there to help us form the muffler cover, which is nice that they've done that. Yeah, okay, it's got a little locking piece so you can lock it together. So you're putting it in one, and then you're pushing it so it's squeezed and formed into place. I would also, because Tamiya's photo etch is so terribly thick, I would also heat that up so that it's a bit more emollient as you put that in. Right, then we're on step 15, building up the exhaust there. Multi-pieces of exhaust, so you can paint them different colours, so that's really handy. Then we're putting on the photo etch muffler. Oh, and it sort of passes through, and then you fold it over to fasten it into place. Okay, should be nice and secure, should prevent that from dropping off. Okay, nice idea if it works. Again, it's such thick photo etch, Tamiya etch, that you absolutely want to heat that up to make that work nicely. Then building up the jack, which is 4 pieces with the separate handle, and we've got the bolt cutters being mounted on top, which was sometimes the case. Different crews would move things around and mount things differently. So we put the exhaust structure on, then we've got this ventilation hose going on, and the cleaning rod, or actually I think it's a tool for manipulating the tracks into place, not the cleaning rod, I beg your pardon. Right, step 18, and we've got the wooden cradle being assembled out of 2 parts for the foldable antenna there. and it shows us what's it showing us there. There's a decal going on, but I can't quite work out where that is going. That's a bit random. Right, okay, on there I guess, on part B45, if you're doing paint scheme A. So maybe you're not adding that if you're not doing paint scheme A. Then we're mounting the two guns into the mantlet there, which have interior detail, completely pointless because you're not going to look in the inside. And then you've got the little hatches going on. Then we're on the turret, so we've got the lifting hooks being added on as separate details, which is nice. So they should be nice tight details. Looks like we've got, just telling you to get rid of the sprue gates there. So building that together. Vision ports, once again, closed only. Once again, disappointing. Step 21. We've got pre-coiled steel tow rope, and then we're just adding the ends, which should give it a little bit more life. So I do like that, but it does limit you to displaying it on the model the way Tamiya want you to display it. And then we've got the lamp there being assembled. We've got an option for an open or closed hatch because we've got a figure, but you haven't really got, they've only given you one figure, so you've not got a figure sitting on the outside of it. So that's a shame. Two figures would have been better. Whether they'll do a figure set for it separately, I don't know. Then we're painting the figure, two different hats. Yep, looks like we've got some decals as well. So that would have been nice, but only the decals will be Tamiya, so they'll be really thick and won't go down so well. Yeah, and then we've got some painting instructions, but we've got a painting guide, so let's have a look at that. So there's some information being given to us here, but it's in Japanese, so I can't really help you with that. And there is history in English as well, so that's great. Gives us some history, some specification, and we've got some nice pictures there. I'm guessing that's the one they've used for this model. Interestingly, I was watching a program where they were restoring a German vehicle and using a Tamiya model as reference for the restoration. So you're in a loop of making mistakes if you're not careful. Right, okay, we've got a little line drawing here which is telling you what different things are. Then on our paint instructions we've got the figure again. Remember, it's pink, not red, the piping. A number of times I've seen people do red piping on the black uniform, but it is pink. So A, we're seeing all the views, so that's nice. And we've got this decal which appears to have scratching on, but then it's not scratched on the lettering, on the numbers. So I don't know what that is, but that doesn't look right to me. Then paint scheme B, which has got the newer format national markings for 1940, and then unknown unit in Russia. So I'm guessing that's based on some pictures they found, but yeah, no unit markings, so I'm unlikely to do that one. Yeah, okay. Separate bit of information is quite interesting, so yeah, all good. Right then, let's have a look at the decals next. So we'll just bring you in a bit. Okay, stapled bag. As I've already said, I'm not a fan. There is a risk of damage, but we've already talked about that. I won't be putting the staples back on. So we've got some protective tissue paper, but the decals are in with the photo etch. Again, I don't like that. There's an opportunity for the decals to get damaged. Okay, and there we go. So decals are quite thick and chunky, as we'd expect from Tamiya, but nice colour saturation. The printing is nice and sharp. There's an awful lot of decal film on them, though. They have trimmed it around the crosses and things, but on the numbers there's quite a bit, and with it being thick, I'm really concerned about those. On the uniform, the decals for the uniform, I think they'll be really chunky. So you might want to think about alternatives for that. Yeah. I've started, where I can, finding alternative decals for Tamiya, because they are a bit chunky, really. And when you're trying to put that over something that's got like uniform creases and things, it will be difficult. Anyway, they are usable. You will be able to put them down, and some people will be quite happy with them. So after I said that Tamiya's photo etch is always thick and chunky, actually this isn't. So this is quite thin. I would still anneal it anyway, but this isn't the thick stuff that I'm used to on their model ships and other kits I've got from them. So yeah, this will be easier to bend, as you can see, and it holds its shape. So you might get away without annealing it, but I think I still would anyway. Yeah, but there you go. That's a nice touch. It's certainly going to look better than a bit of plastic for that job. So yeah, all in all, happy with that. Nicely done, Tamiya. Right, sprue D is our first sprue out, and we've got the upper hull section and the turret. And your first impression is that there's lots and lots of detail on here. So I've got my magnifying glasses on so I can look at the weld. The weld is very, very nicely done. You can see there, there's weld along the turret top. I will take some photos so you can get nice and close. There's weld along the turret top. There is, however, this is a slide molded part, and on two places there you've got a slide mold seam, which will be really difficult to clean up with its position between the rivets here. So just be careful of that. But the actual detail on the part is very, very nice. And then we've got another slide molded part here. Now, as we look at this main upper turret, the first thing that strikes you is the number of potential that Tamiya has taken away from you with all these compartments being moulded shut. I mean, they're done very nice. The hinges are really crisp. The moulding is lovely, but there's so much animation that they've taken away from the modeler. Again, a bit disappointing, really. But the weld is really nicely modelled. The detail is very lovely and crisp. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing at all wrong with it. It's all about what you expect from a model and what you want from a model and what you're actually being given, I think, is where my closing remarks are going to centre. Clear parts now, sprue G, and we've got the lenses for the various different lamps. And as I look at them, they're lovely and clear, although the two smaller ones have a lot of sink in them. So yeah, you might want to just sand those down and polish them up a little bit before you fit them, but otherwise okay. Next sprue is C, and we've got lower hull parts and some upper hull parts. Interestingly, and I hadn't really picked up on this on the instructions, but we've got mounting points for the sprockets, I think. Yeah, must be. already moulded in, so that's a nice touch. You've got lots of detail underneath with rivets and hex head bolts there, which are all nicely depicted. Yeah, that's all very nice, and lots of detail on the side panels there. I mean, most of this you're not going to see, but it's all there. So we've got all the bolt heads and things where they should be, and domed head rivets, so all very crisp. This is our former for the muffler cover. Then we've got our antenna, which has four sprue gates on it, I should say. So you'll have to do that carefully. This is polystyrene as well. Yeah, so they've not done it in anything harder. The hose is very nice, the extraction hose. Yeah, that looks really good. And we've got nice, really nice wood effect on the antenna cradle there. So yeah, I've seen people weather this like it's metal, but it's not. Famously, it's wood. So yeah, they've done a good job of the wood grain effect on there, so you'll be able to give that a wash and highlight that. Over scale, but it will look sympathetic to the model when done, so that's all good. And then we've got the top part, so we've got the correct pattern of mudguards on top, which is nice. And then we've got the front plate there. All the moulding is lovely and crisp, although again we've got hatches closed off, and then that's our little part that holds this in place, so locates in there, and it's just a blanking plate, so you can't put interior detail into here easily. I mean, there's nothing on here that's going to help you with interior detail in the future. So from that point of view, it's really quite limiting. But the moulding is very, very nice. Sprue B now, quite a busy sprue this. So we've got all the sort of the tooly bits, and we've got some of the suspension bits and what have you. So okay, so starting at the bottom corner here, we've got the fire extinguisher, starter handle and various tools. Moulding on those is nice. All the tool clips are moulded on, but to be honest, they look really good, so I wouldn't be too worried about replacing them with etch. Then we've got all sorts of blanking plates, and part 6 and part 7 here have got sink in. I can see it in the light. I don't know if we can get the camera to pick that up. There you go. So that is causing sink. That's a bit of a shame. There's no detail on there, so easy to sort it, but there you go. Springs are nicely done. It's all hollow on the back, but the detail is nice front facing. Then we've got the figure, several parts to the figure, nicely sculpted, uniform creases all look natural, and yeah, hands on the turret, and then the two heads, again, they look quite serious, but they're very nice. And we do have the badges marked on there, even though there's decals to go over the top, which is good for those of us that like to paint them. And then we've got this vent here, which unfortunately they've put ejector pin points on the back. So you can see 3 ejector pin points down the middle, and you can see those through there. So instead of it being clear, you're going to have to scrape out the inside of that. So that's pretty poor. They could have done that better. Yeah. Nice weld and bolt detail on this front plate here, so that's nicely done. This towing cable, that's nicely done as well. Yeah, a lot of finesse there. Then we've got the towing hook with the pin moulded in, so you've not got an option of having that out if you want, or anything like that. They've just taken that option away from you and put it in. All the moulding really good. Machine guns look good. The block, oh dear. Well, they really should have slide moulded it if they were going to do this. They've put wood grain effect on the top, but you've not got it on the sides or the ends, so that's a bit pointless. That could have been done better, to be honest. And then we've got this great big horrid triangle of plastic, which I don't know why they've done that. And Tamiya's a devil for doing this at times. So yeah, we might be discarding that and replacing it, I think. Otherwise, everything else is really, really nice. Lovely, tight detail and well moulded. We get a little bag of 4 poly caps, but I only recall that we used 2 in the instructions. And I'm not really sure that we should have even needed them. Sprue A now, and this is our last sprue. We have 2 of these included. And this is all focused on the wheels and tracks. Yeah, all looks really, really nice. At first look, when you look at these, you think, well, those aren't round, but of course you're mounting them into these, so it'll all sort itself out. There's no markings at all on the rubber of the return rollers there, but the tracks are really nicely done. We've got sprue gates on both sides. Careful cleanup because it's on the thinnest part, but it's a bit difficult where you're gonna put it. So they've put it on the side piece there. So that's probably the best place to put it. It should be easy enough to clean up. You can see that some of these parts are shaped, and we've got nice cutouts in the teeth there. So all very good. Moulding detail is lovely. Hooks are nicely done. Yeah. So yeah, all very nice. I can't see any issues with this at all. Looks like we can paint the rubber parts of the wheels separately. Yeah, all good. Right, I'll take some pictures and then we'll sum up. So there you have it, Tamiya's brand new 2024 new tool Panzer Kampfwagen 1 Ausf. What's my first impression? Okay, let's start with the packaging. Packaging, usual Tamiya affair, it's okay. It's loose in the bag, stapled bags, multiple sprues in the bag. The worst bit of the packaging is the very, very flimsy box, easy to crush with long-term storage. So yeah, it's okay, but it's not amazing. Instructions, again, okay, but not amazing. For Tamiya instructions, these ones were not too bad. I sometimes find that they're a little bit busy and it's a little bit difficult to work through it, and you've got to really sort of focus on them. I didn't find that was the case with these. These seemed quite nicely laid out, very clear, paint instructions as you go. So no real issues with the instructions at all. Separate paint sheet, nicely done. Nicely laid out, good instructions for painting the figure. So no real issues with the instructions at all. Decals, not the best, quite thick and chunky and a fair amount of decal film. So decals on the figure definitely will be difficult to do, but you're not really going to get a good painted on effect with Tamiya decals, so you might want to look at alternatives for that. But, you know, you will be able to put them on, but some modelers won't be happy with the end result, is where I am with that. The photo etch, actually really nicely done. And I think will really add to the model. So that was a nice touch. And then you've got the plastic parts themselves. And they're great. Really nice detail. Beautiful weld seams, lots of lovely fastener detail, mouldings all crisp, not really any issues, a little bit of sink in a couple of parts, but minor sink and easy to correct. So yeah, all good on that front. However, it's a real missed opportunity, this kit, because so many of those hatches are welded shut. I mean, none of the vision ports can be modelled open. That's not great at all. I mean, we can't look in. There's no interior detail on a model that's this small. You're not adding a lot to the price tag to put the interior detail on. So if Tamiya had done this model and had given you the detail inside without giving you the interior detail to fit it out, but like the floor pan was correct, and the little divide for the engine bay had the wiring and stuff on, it wouldn't have taken much for them to have done that. And they've given you all the hatches open. I would have said Tamiya have given you a lovely model here with loads of potential. But they haven't. If they'd done the moulding to the standard they have and given us the full interior, then I'd have been saying this is by far the best option on the market, and they're ratcheting up the bar again on modelling. But they haven't. What they've done is they've taken lots and lots of possibility and opportunity and taken that away from the modeler. So they've moulded everything shut. I mean, it's a 70s kit that they've just retooled to sharpen up the detail, is how it feels, you know. So to be quite honest, I wouldn't get this one. I'd get the Hobby Boss one that's about the same price, maybe slightly cheaper, and comes with a full interior. And is no real less well moulded. So I think it's a real lost opportunity, and I think Tamiya continue to lose ground in the modelling world, because they used to be head and shoulders above everybody else, and they're not anymore. And it's offerings like this that prove that Tamiya is starting to lose its way, and it can't carry on doing what it did in the 70s and 80s and just put out a nicely moulded model and think that's enough. The modeler demands more now. You know, there's so much opportunity to animate models these days, and Tamiya takes so much of that away from you. So what they've given you is very, very nice. It's what they've not given you that's the problem. So yeah, I've got it. I will build it, but it could have been so much more. So thanks very much for looking in. I hope that was useful and helpful. If you are thinking of buying this kit, you know what you get inside. You can take your own view from the photographs that we've just shared. Thanks for looking in, and until I next see you, you enjoy your modelling, and bye for now. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so. It's free, and if you'd like to support the channel, you can hit my PayPal link in the text below. Every pound goes straight into the channel to keep the cameras rolling and to do more fun stuff for you to watch.